Okay, so now we're going to take a look at revolving splines. And to do this, we need a path. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out all the objects in my object manager and just get rid of them. Notice that when I deleted the extrusion object, its child got deleted as well. So you can see that we have some tools here: sketch, pen, spline smooth, and spline arc tool. All these tools will allow you to create paths. So using this pen tool, I can create a path, and then what I can do with that path is that I can revolve it. And the way that I would revolve it is with a lathe Nurb. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to go into a view like the front view or the right view, or the front or the right. I'm going to go to the right view, and using my pen tool, what I want to do is I want to be sure that I am above this line here. And so I'm going to use this tool and just move it down a bit. And then with this pen tool, what I'm going to use this grid to help me too. I'm going to use the grid to help me draw some kind of a bodily type shape. Now you notice that the pen tool creates a path, and then it gives me kind of some hints about what that path is going to look like, much like you could see that in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm just drawing some simple bottle shape here just by using this tool. Okay, so that gives me the shape. I just hit the escape key to get out of that. And now I have a spline. So going back into the perspective view, you can see that I have the spline, but it doesn't do anything right now for me. Right now it's just a flat object. It doesn't have any volume. It doesn't have any dimension. What we want to do is we want to revolve it around this axis to give it a 360 degrees to give it some full volume. So I'm going to go to the Lathe Nurb, add that to the Objects Manager. And like we saw before with the Extrude Nurb, it has to be the parent of the child. So I'm going to take this spline and I'm going to move it into the Lathe Nurb, and now we get the full volume of that particular object. So you can see as I move around here what that looks like. It just took it and it wrapped it around on that axis. Now, if you're not comfortable drawing with the tools in Cinema 4D, it's possible to do this with Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to switch over to Adobe Illustrator. Now I already have a path that I've drawn here. This is just a simple shape. It's just a path. But notice that it is up against the left edge of this artboard, which is kind of important. So I'm going to go to File, to Save As, and I want to save this in a specific format. And the reason for that is that Cinema 4D doesn't accept Adobe CC files. We have to save it out as an earlier version. So when we get to this dialog box, the version we have to set it to is Illustrator 8, and that's something that Cinema 4D can understand. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK on that, and now I have this saved spline. And now I'm going to go back to Cinema 4D. I'm going to delete the current item that I have here. And in order to get that spline in here, what I can do is go to File, to merge objects in the Object Manager. And then I need to find that file, so I'm going to go into my folder. And here's my spline. And I'm going to import it. It's going to ask me about the scale. I'm going to just keep that at 1 and click OK. And that comes in way down here. And you'll see that it's still on the x-axis. It's just below the ground plane, which isn't a problem. So if I want to, I can grab this move tool, and I want to select the whole thing, not just that point. So you know what, I'm just going to I'm just going to do the Nurb. So I'm going to add the Lathe Nurb, and I'm going to add the spline to the Lathe Nurb, and there we have it. So now when I select the lathe, I can move that up and down. So you can either do the spline inside of Cinema 4D Lite if you're comfortable with their tools, or you can do it with Adobe Illustrator. Just remember that you have to save it down to Illustrator 8. And now I have this object, and I can scale it, I can move it around, I can manipulate it. So that's lathe, and that's the Lathe Nurb inside of Cinema 4D Lite.